Ciao loves, this is Gemma with lunation number 1254. This is the full moon reading occurring on May 23rd at 1:53 UTC. The sun is at 8 degrees and 41 minutes in the lunar mansion or the asterism star group Krittika. The moon will come at 8 degrees and 12 minutes in the lunar mansion of Anuradha. The most significant aspect of this full moon is the conjunction of Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun at Krittika. At the peak of this full moon, Jupiter will be at 5 degrees and 14 minutes of Krittika, and Venus will be at 5 degrees and 25 minutes of Krittika. And with the Sun at 8 degrees, you can imagine they are positioned right on top of one another. So it truly is a meeting of the benefactors or the greatest beneficence. Now, Krittika consists and is known of the 7 stars of Ursa Major. We know this constellation commonly as the Big Dipper. In mythology, it is known as the she-bear, who is connected to the goddess of Artemis. And the she-bear is recognized as the great nurturer, the great giver. Now, these 7 stars also represent the 7 sheaths of the body, as well as the 7 seers, or known as the 7 rishis. So let's deep dive in. Now, with the sun at this position, what happens is it is responsible for the evolution of our planet. The Big Dipper, or Ursa Major, is the mama bear. She nourishes and she guides. She's connected to Zeus and the guidance and nourishment of Zeus, as well as the goddess Artemis, the goddess of the wild. When we look at Krittika, the star asterism, from the Vedic perspective, it is directly symbolized as the razor or the fire. Now, when we think of fire, we have to know that fire is the means of transformation. It's illumination as well, right? It lights the way, but it is also the mechanism in which we transform or evolve energy. And we know this by the laws of thermodynamics. Thermo, also meaning fire. The laws of thermodynamics simply state, or the third law, is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It must be transformed. So we have a better idea of Krittika, or the nature and fire of Krittika. With the sun positioned here, it really plays on the Atmic principle. Atmic means soul. Now, the sun is connected to the Jiva Atma, or the individuated soul. Now, when we look at the Atmic principle, we're looking at the seed of the soul, or the principle of the world soul. So when the sun moves in this position, it is going to illuminate the enduring aspect. So despite evolution, any type of transformation, there is one seed, there is one aspect that is constantly being recreated. And this is the Atmic principle, that through multiple transformations, as described through laws of thermodynamics, the energy, the quality, the seed nature is imperishable. That seed nature is that connection to the divine, that which contains, sustains, and continues, and is immortal. So with the sun here, we understand that we will have an enduring aspect. We will be awakened to our enduring nature, or our imperishable nature. It will call upon us that which rises, that which guides, that which the seed within ourselves that directs us. Krittika, fire, cuts through, transforms, and Krittika is also symbolized by the razor or the knife. It is a cutting nature. And when we think about a cutting nature, it is a transformative nature. It is a cutting or a decisive, an incisive nature. With the sun here, we'll be guided through evolution. And this is fire. This evolutionary fire is also known, that which disintegrates becomes integral. So that which we transform is the integral part of the evolution. So let's dive even deeper. With the sun, Jupiter, and Venus in this position, it's going to unite the soul with 2 of the great benefactors, as I mentioned, Jupiter and Venus. They are the gift-giving, nurturing planets. Krittika is the 7-fold flames the 7 seers, the 7 rishis. It is the 7 points of guidance and manifestation from heaven unto earth. The microcosm and the macrocosm and the microcosm. And this is best explained and understood as the 7 sheaths of the human body, or the 7 enlivening principles. This star group is the correlation of the macro to the micro through the 7 sheaths. This is a very spiritual alignment principle. Now, with this correlation, I want you to think of the imperishable soul, as we mentioned. The imperishable soul is connected to the illuminating forces. The seed, that which is being transformed, is integral. It is the multiple levels of transformation, the 7 layers of which we are sustained and of which we are composed. Through these forces, the soul principle, or also known as the Atmic principle, sustains wholeness. The Sun, Jupiter, and Venus unite in a combination to sustain and provide gifts of beneficence in this evolutionary change. Some will experience radical change, and we see this radical change actually occurring in our world. Remember, the Atmic principle is also the seed soul, the world soul. And the sun is representative of the individuated soul. So here we have this change that will affect the individual and the world. There is an activation of new ordering. This asterism is connected to the great guiding principle within the feminine. So Krittika, this star asterism in which all of these planets, the sun, Jupiter, and Venus, are located in, is seen as a passive feminine principle, right? It's the 7 stars of the she-bear Ursa Major. And the passive feminine principle, it sounds contradictory because here I've been talking about this evolutionary forces, this transformative fire, but it is within the passive nature of the feminine. And this is really important because it is the aspect of which holds the transformation. Okay, stay with me. These natures and this point in the stars, it is not the creative principle. When we talk about a passive feminine, typically it's a creative principle. This is not a creative principle. It is not an activation of any means. Remember, it is an incision. It is a decision. It is a guiding force that allows the 7 aspects of the sheaths, or it is the connection to the world soul that the individual is connected to. And everything is connected within the divine feminine principle. It is occurring within the womb or the substance. It is occurring within the water, the ethers. It is occurring within everything that is occurring has to occur within something. Now, this principle, these aspects, is the molding. It is the molding and the guidance of what is from and through the activation of the soul's connection. Not the individuation, but the seed of the soul's connection. And this is the power to create radical change and to claim one's blessings. To restore order through the fire and light, the ability to transform and know that you are a part of the seed of the imperishable. You are the immortal. And that which you change, you are changed from. This is also the light that allows us to initiate within each soul. And thus, the soul's eternal nature can be preserved and protected. Here is that passive feminine, the preservation. So we have this restoration. We have this new organization. Remember I said incisive and decisive. We have an organization within the 7 sheaths. And within this organization of the 7 sheaths, what will come into light is the eternal nature that resides within, despite all of its manifestations. And it allows this protection and this preservation that can manifest within different levels. If there is a seed that is imperishable, if there is a seed that goes through thermogenesis or multiple evolutions, multiple transformations, that which never changes, the consciousness that exists through all of it, is what will come to light within you. This will build and strengthen moral character. I really want to emphasize this because the sun and the moon's position both indicate an overcoming of obstacles. Now, the unique thing is this overcoming of obstacles. A lot of times we start to think of these obstacles that occur within the external, 100%. However, these obstacles are more predicated on the internal. It's going to shift. Remember the last lunation, we really had this shift of relationship. So now we have this shift of guidance or understanding higher principles. And with Venus here, Venus is the great benefactor. She is the teacher of our demons as well as the giver of our gifts. The teacher through our desires as well as the sweetener of all of our blessings. So in this aspect, the obstacles that occur are the innate ones within us that maybe hold us back and understanding and uniting with universal principles. What will be challenged is if we become small-minded. So the morality here is really going to work into the way that we execute ourselves within these layers of manifestation. Remember, it is alignment within the spiritual planes. And in order to be fully aligned within spiritual planes, one must emanate and radiate the lightness of love, compassion, empathy, and alignment with our fellow the universal soul, our fellow humans, and be indifferent in terms of what almost happens. So I'm not indifferent of not caring, but being one with the wave. Okay, so this is what I mean. It's going to help strengthen moral character. It's almost going to, and I spoke about this in the first few lunations of this year, is this middle way that's going to start to come through. You're going to start to recognize that you are that which does not change. It's going to be less reliant on personality and more connected to that universal seed that lives within you. And we can see and understand this in alignment with the soul's highest principle. So the radiation of the soul is congruent with spiritual ordering. Let me say that again. All of these aspects of challenges that are happening and occurring are going to strengthen the innate nature within you that is eternal, that is not swayed, and it's going to challenge some of our simple natures of moral conduct. So we are congruent with spiritual ordering. Now with Jupiter, the expander, the teacher, there will be an expansion of the mind. And many will see, or many others will say, Jupiter is in Taurus. It's going to be an abundantly rich time. Yeah, ma certo, right? We'll be blessed in new opportunities. But your stars will determine those opportunities. Your conduct will determine what benefits you, what befalls upon you, and more importantly, what you recognize as your gifts and your blessings. But Jupiter's role here is not so much to be the giver of gifts as it's going to accentuate the guidance. And with the sun, it will sharpen your mental capacity. It will allow us to be decisive. It's allowing us through the sun in its own lunar mansion. Remember, Krittika is ruled by the sun. So with the sun in its own lunar mansion, in its own asterism, it's going to emphasize the individuated soul expanding and uniting with the universal. Venus here may offer temptation for immediate rewards, but can you stay true to that point? Ursa Major is a northern star. That means it never really goes through the setting phases. It's always a circumpolar star. It rotates constantly. It is tied to the Babylonian astronomy for myths of ages. And the reason I say that is this guidance is always within you and above you. You are always being sustained. You are always being held. And so when Venus comes here, do not take a temptation as if a simple come and go or a greedy aspect. It's going to offer you an opportunity to take the high road, to maybe not be lured by immediate rewards, but to seek a greater path of overcoming certain aspects so you can rest in the true rewards of the spiritual prosperity that never wane. It's going to ask you to seek alignment with that which sustains you. That is with your spiritual plane that holds you in a state of not fluctuation, but in a state of constant, whether in all forms of evolution and all forms of transformation. The moon being in Anuradha. This is going to emphasize more of love. The moon here has brought to light that which is cultivating in darkness, or that which has been stirring at night. Anuradha is in Scorpio at the very beginning of Scorpio. And I'm just correlating it with the zodiacal signs, but I want you to really think that it's the stars that lie beyond the zodiacal signs. It's the essence of that which lies hidden in the dark. It's almost like working hard, and nobody sees your efforts. This is what Anuradha represents in this position. And the moon here is going to represent that which you have been cultivating in the unseen, that which has been cultivating within you, that you are unconscious of, that which you have been working towards, that the world is unconscious of, that which you have been wishing, those things that lie deep within you, that have been transforming within you without your own conscious acknowledgement. Those aspects, those hidden powers are what's going to be brought to light. And we talk about it being free from the earth. We have in this aspect very deep feminine principles, of which your hidden powers and latent abilities have always been within you, cultivating behind the scenes. All of these aspects kind of building behind the scenes, strengthening you, are now released from earthly confines. It is now coming up from the belly of the earth to support you, to awaken within you a revelation of the innate soul within you. If this efforts and energy you strived for, so it's what you applied yourself to behind the scenes, now reveals itself into the light. All those things that you've kind of been working for is now taking form to be seen, consciously and worldly. It is a revealing of the ignorance of Maya. Maya is the veil of illusion. It is the veil of illusion of time and space. It's also the veil of illusion of separateness. But Maya is the ignorance veil. And so this veil becomes lifted. And it lets us see what lies within us, what has been cultivating, what has been stirring, our own actions, whether we know it, and what has been the evolutionary process that has been occurring within us. So with the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus in this position will offer blessings through this revelation, a sweetening of what is to rise. Much like a new dawn, there is a lightening against conflict. There is a lightening against turmoil. There is an awakening to light. With this, the sun will work to align the individual along the spiritual planes, and as well as that is the 7 sheets will become regenerated, revitalized to be in alignment with the universal soul, but the individuation of your awareness will start to shine through. Your ability to recognize what has been brewing within you now comes into light. Both the sun and moon in this position will indicate overcoming that which impedes you. Together, they will illuminate a great infallible nature within you. Let me say that again. You will be illuminated, awakened, and a dawn will rise to what is true within you. Your atmic principle, the seed that you are connected to the universal. This sun will highlight the evolution and the directive to revitalize the soul and that seed. And it is seen in overcoming and seen and felt in connection. So yeah, many of you will shift your relationships. Many of you will shift in understanding. Many of you will shift how your moral character or being small-minded might shift. But more importantly, it is a very spiritual aspect. The moon is going to reveal the hidden qualities and the efforts that have supported and will continue to support you in this evolution. You will feel, rest assured, you are uncovering the nature within the seed of self. You are uncovering the immortal within you. And some of you may experience revelations or primeval memories. Again, this revealing nature, this unfolding of the ignorance or revealing the sheath of separateness. It's going to pull away Maya, the illusion. So many of you will have primeval memories. Some of you will feel more emotional and you don't know why, or you feel things are shifting. It's part of the transformation. Allow things to be revealed to you. There might not be something grandiose, but you will wake up in a different way. You will move through this world as you are revitalized in a different way, but you are being reminded that you are ever supported. Together, these planets, luminaries, these forces will work together to move the soul and its manifested realizations into a symbiotic connection. The macro and the micro of the individual and the soul will emerge. Allow Venus to sweeten your embodiment and allow Jupiter to expand your blessings. All of these things require a new way of overcoming and interacting of the personal obstacles that we set forth within our misunderstanding of ourself and our universal nature, and also our misunderstanding of how we apply the power that lies within us. This will be a shift in channeling your efforts and aligning yourself to a higher plane of resonance, of being, and of understanding. These energies will strengthen processes, and they will work with the universal thread that unites us all. And that is it, my loves, and I'm sending you so many blessings as you transform your life and as you awaken to all that is good, all that is great, and all that is divine within you. Lots of love. Tanti Bachi. Ciao.